This episode of All You Need to Know is brought to you by Union Bank of India. Good people to bank with.
Good morning and thanks for listening in. This is the daily morning update from BQ Prime and I'm Tushar Deep Singh. Today is the 3rd of November. In the top story, if you're listening in from Delhi or Mumbai, we advise you to get on with the day with the mask in hand. The air pollution situation in the national capital has worsened into the severe category with a thick haze enveloping the city. All government and private schools are shut for 2 days. A Central Pollution Control Board has banned non-essential construction activity in the national capital region. Several other measures will also come into effect as part of the Stage 3 of the Graded Action Response Plan, which was framed to tackle the annual surge in pollution in the capital and the surrounding areas. Delhi Environment Minister Gopal Rai has called a meeting today to discuss the implementation of this plan. Data from the Central Pollution Control Board shows Delhi's air quality in October was the worst since 2020. Meteorologists have attributed it to the lack of rain. In Mumbai, the Maharashtra Pollution Control Board has issued notice to HPCL, Tata Power and others to cut production by half to control the rising air pollution levels. According to the Central Pollution Control Board, several areas of Mumbai experienced poor air quality, particularly Chembur, Kolaba, Mulund and Sion. The situation wasn't particularly better in Vashi, Navi Mumbai and Thane. We are tracking the air pollution situation in detail. Keep tracking BQ Prime for more. Tata Motors has reported profits for the fourth quarter in a row, albeit lower than expectations. Net profits were at 3,764 crore rupees as against a net loss of 945 crore rupees on the back of revenue that increased 32% to 1.05 lakh crore. Revenue from Jaguar Land Rover was up 30% year-on-year to 6.86 billion pounds. Separately, Tata Motors said its Sanand plant will be fully operational by March. The company's EV unit has also signed an agreement with JLR to develop premium EVs under the Avinya platform. In other news, Bajaj Finance has approved the allotment of 15.5 lakh warrants to its promoter Bajaj Finserv to raise as much as rupees 1200 crore. The issue price is set at rupees 7,670 rupees per warrant. Following the issue, the promoter's stake will increase to 52.57 from the pre-allotment of 52.45%. An amount equivalent to 25% of the consideration will be payable at the time of subscription and allotment of warrants, and the remaining 75% on the exercise of options against each warrant. Each of the warrants is convertible into an equivalent number of equity shares within a period of 18 months from the date of allotment. On to international news now. Israel has built on its ground offensive in Gaza, surrounding Gaza City, with the ceasefire not on the table, according to a spokesperson for Tel Aviv. The army's advance is pushing more Palestinians in Gaza City to desperately seek a safe haven, including at the Al-Shifa hospital. United Nations experts say they remain convinced that the Palestinian people are at grave risk of a genocide amid Israel's unrelenting attacks. A White House spokesperson has said that US is exploring the idea of humanitarian pauses to the fighting in order to get aid into Gaza and allow people to leave. At least 9,000 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli attacks on Gaza since 7th October. More than 1,400 people have been killed in Israel. Onto the markets now. The US markets overnight extended gains as traders bet the Federal Reserve is coming to an end of its historical tightening campaign. The S&P 500 advanced 1.9%, its biggest one-day gain since April, while Nasdaq 100 futures climbed 1%. And as if on cue, shares in Asia advanced, including in South Korea and Australia. The GIFT Nifty, an early indicator for the Nifty 50, was largely unchanged as of 5:45 a.m. And with that, it's over to Neeraj Shah for the trade setup in India. Morning, Neeraj. Lots to unpack this morning. What with the earnings season on in full swing?
Good morning, and thanks for that. So, when I'm looking at the world markets today, I see how, one, that the rally has been very strong for the US markets, part one, and two, the rally relative in India has been very soft. So week to date, the Nasdaq is up 5%, S&P is up 5%, the Nifty is just up 4.45%. But there's a key hurdle to cross. 19,250, 19,300 is a key hurdle. It may lead to short covering in the 19,200 calls as well, because that's where the maximum call positions are posted. So let's wait and watch. Much to my surprise and all the skepticism around real estate being overbought, it's leading the March higher. It doesn't have an impact on the Nifty per se, but it's leading the March higher. And that is very interesting to see. Yes, there's fundamental performance too, but nearly 10% or 11% in a matter of 7-8 days is quite stunning. Metals recovered yesterday, but I think they still stay out of favor. If anything, real estate, power, a clutch of mid caps probably hold the roost. A clutch of very important numbers today, by the way. I mean, so one is, of course, Titan dominates amongst the large ones, but Godavari Power and Ispat could be interesting amidst all the speculations of some imminent announcements there, or Gujarat Fluorochem after what Naveen Fluorine has done, or Aditya Vision after mutual funds have actually bought the share, and there's some conversations of some more funds interested, or Interglobe Aviation amidst all the talk of problems with some engines and crude prices, or a Zomato clearly expected to have some benefits of this increased pricing or the benefits that they've done. So watch out for a lot of these names. In among stocks to watch, Tata Motors, the numbers were okay. I mean, largely in line, maybe slightly soft if you will, but the margin picture was good. Margins improved across JLR, CV, PV business, and they've raised the JLR guidance. So net seems okay. The numbers, who knows? The stock may do well. Some weak names, weaker hands rather this quarter. Tattva Chintan Pharma, revenue soft, margins better than estimated, but because revenues were just so low, the profit number also weak relative to estimates. NoSell is the other one. Revenues were down 10%, margins cracked, PAT down 25%. Link was the other one. Revenues were up just a mere 3%, but margins cracked, and therefore profit after tax down 19%. And Sheela Foam, another one wherein revenues were down, margins were down, PAT was down. So these are the weaker hands this quarter, this in today's session. Stocks which did well, Ratnamani Metals and Tubes. Very strong numbers. Revenues up 25% at 1131. The expectations were 618. Margins expanded a little bit. PAT at 164 versus expectations of 62 crores. Illiquid stocks, so be careful, but could do well. JK Lakshmi delivered. Margins expanded about 190 basis points at 13.8%. PAT up 43%, could be interesting. Pratap Stacks Bar revenues were down 5.2%, but better than estimated on all fronts. Who knows, could do well. Similarly for Chamandal Setia Exports, the numbers were good. And Chemplast Sanmar, while the numbers were down, the revenue was down 17%, but it was in line with estimates. Margins were better than estimated, as a result of which the reported profit was 26 crores versus an estimate of 18 crore loss. Who knows, could react. So these are a few names on my radar. But I look forward to the US data today and a clutch of numbers slated to come out today, which might well have a bearing on what the markets do on Monday. We've not had the best of runs, but the global markets have had a good run. So who knows? Might be a bit of a pause, especially after Apple's numbers. With that, it's back to you.
Thanks, Neeraj. And as always, thank you for listening in. Don't forget to check out the website and our social media platforms for all the updates on markets, news, and everything else. This is Tushar signing off. Have a great day.
This episode of All You Need to Know is brought to you by Union Bank of India. Good people to bank with.